Hello everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Apple Music platform and compare it against Spotify and see which particular option is the better one for you. Now, the thing I will tell you is that in my opinion, I've used both, but Spotify is the one that I typically use on an everyday basis. So I have naturally more experience with Spotify. I've used Apple Music before. I've been around Apple Music for a long time. And I'll tell you, there's way more similarities than there are differences. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're trying to go through and you're really trying to make a decision, they're both relatively kind of the same. They both give you almost the same type of songs, the same type of experience. Their applications are built a little bit differently, but they're almost kind of the same type of system, if you ask me personally. Now, with the price tag situation, they both have the same type of tiers as well. So Apple Music has the individual plan, which is about $10.99 a month, so $11. There's the family plan on both, which is $16.99. And then you have a student discount plan, which gives it for $5.99. Now that is from a price tag standpoint, so there's not really much to say there. So they're both giving you relatively the exact same type of situation. However, with both, there's a little bit of a difference when it comes down to accessibility for a free tier. Apple Music does not have a free tier that's year round. So there's no way of just downloading Apple Music and having Apple Music with ads. Apple doesn't do that right now, so that's kind of where they're at with this situation. But they do run some random free trials sometimes. So you might be able to go through and get 3 months of Apple Music completely for free. They do that sometimes here and there, and that's kind of a nice convenient thing. You can probably just Google it. So you can get a free trial with Apple Music. It's just not year round, and it's not a built-in tier. With Spotify, there is a built-in free tier option. So it does have ads, there's limited skips, and sometimes you can't just pick whatever song you want. But there is a free tier that you can go through and download and use. So that is kind of a nice thing going on there as well. There's around 100 million tracks on both, which is awesome. You do get offline listening between both for the paid tiers. They do support many different types of, platforms. But it's interesting with Spotify, you can go through and connect it via, certain consoles. I think Apple Music can, but from what I know, Spotify is also the one that kind of does it there too. They both integrate well with different types of devices, CarPlay, Android Auto, things like that. And there are also big communities behind these types of applications. So that is kind of something you're going to have to remember. If you already have something like an iPhone, getting something like Apple Music might actually be kind of a nice thing because it integrates really, really well with your Apple devices. So if you have an iPad or a Mac or whatever, Apple makes it really easy for you to go through and basically connect to all your other, devices and, be able to play all your music and songs that you want. So that is a very, very nice thing to keep in mind. I actually do like that a lot. But within Spotify, it also is very seamless, right? It's really, really easy to integrate it with different social features. There's that free version available. There's, very, very good ways of kind of going through and kind of using both. I will say though, from a pop culture music standpoint, I always feel like I hear about Spotify more than Apple Music. But there's also, I guess, a lot of lawsuits going on with Spotify and the way they treat creators. So I'm not really too sure how that would go. But from a music listening perspective, I do like Spotify a lot. I don't really plan on ever switching from it. And it is the one that I would normally go to. But if you use Apple Music and or Spotify, I would love to hear your thoughts about this. Let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.